Good morning, everyone in Katribu. This is Straight Talk. I am Vernon Velasco.
And this is Tina Maralit.
And today we are joined by LTO Chief Edgar Galvante to discuss the privatization of MVIS. But before that, we are going to discuss the headlines for the Daily Tribune. So the Daily Tribune came up with
The
the MGCQ story.
can wait. Ayan. Of course, yesterday, President Rodrigo Duterte put his foot down and decided that there will be no easing up of the
Okay.
restrictions. Ayan. Because wala pa tayong bakuna. And, we don't want to risk a surge in infections again because, again, our healthcare system may be overwhelmed at hindi na naman kakayanin. At baka, our health workers might ask for a break. Again. But then again, there's also still that question of how do we strike a healthy balance between the economy and the public's health and safety.
Yeah.
Diba?
And how much of the population needs to be vaccinated in order to get herd immunity? It's 60%, and there's just a lot of these hindrances to make that happen. Because even when there's a vaccine, there are a lot of it takes a storage issue. There's the delivery issue, the LGU laws, and the master plan. Diba?
Yeah, but above all that, the biggest problem right now is wala pa yung bakuna.
Exactly.
The vaccines aren't here yet. Iba-iba yung sinasabing dates kung kailan yung dating ng ng bakuna. Pfizer ba yan? Sinovac ba yan? And
actually,
all these
diba
other
there's 7?
issues. Yes.
There's 7.
But yun nga, while the other countries are done with their second doses, other countries have started inoculating their citizens with the first dose of the vaccine, ang Pilipinas, hindi pa rin tayo magkasundo kung ano yung talagang bakunang kukunin and when it's going to arrive. And, wala pa. I mean, I understand the frustration of our lawmakers and our citizens that, their impression is that there is no set plan regarding the mass vaccination program. And,
pero ikaw, in the off chance that the vaccine is here, everything is set, tapos pabakunahan ka, papabakuna ka ba?
Oo.
Kasi that's one of the, di ba?
Yes.
That's one of the hindrances as well. Kasi di ba parang, there's just less than 50% of Filipinos who want to be vaccinated.
Yes.
In fears that, there are a lot of kasi side effects na ganyan. That's why there's an indemnification law as well na parang inirush ni President.
But also, there's also a need for a stepped up information dissemination because marami kasi sa mga kababayan natin, their fears are based on hearsays or what their neighbors tell them or what they see, read, and watch in the news that hindi naman nila gaanong maintindihan, maybe because of the jargon or the technicalities and whatever. So, I guess, to allay their fears, proper information should be relayed to them.
But even the big data, if you look at the big data, di ba, let's say the Sinopharm, it only has 60% efficacy. So,
but as with any other vaccine, maybe it for the flu, for pneumonia, malaria, or whatever, there's always that risk. And it's not just for the anti-COVID-19 vaccine.
Actually, yeah. And, di ba, parang to allay the fears of the people, President Duterte actually had himself,
That's what he said. He's willing to be inoculated in public.
In the butt.
So that's the banner story of the Daily Tribune for today. President Duterte said no MGCQ until vaccine roll out. More of Straight Talk when we return.
Manong Joe po.
At Ate Maita,
Good news! Bumaba ng 7 centavos per kilowatt hour ang overall electricity rates ngayong buwan. At para sa mga Lifeline customers na 100 kilowatt hours at pababa ang konsumo, extended ang no disconnection hanggang March 2021 ayon sa DOE. At kung may tanong po dito o sa inyong bills, kung ano ang nabayaran na o babayaran pa, nakahanda ang customer care representatives namin. PM is key. Safe pa.
mahalaga talaga ang safety. Kaya may bright ideas tayo para dyan. Uso ang mga UV devices para safe sa virus sa mga gamit natin. At ang konsumo, safe din kasi wala pang piso kada gamit. Maging UV wand, UV table lamp, o UV sprayer man. Abot kaya! To learn more, visit our website.
Hanggang sa susunod na
Meralco Advisory!
The road sector believes that privatizing motor vehicle inspection is the way to go if we really are to bring roadworthiness of our vehicles to international standards of safety. But the well-meaning policy has also been embroiled in dispute. Learn the pros and cons of privatizing MVIS from Land Transportation Office Chief Edgar Galvante, who is joining us live. I am Verdun Velasco.
Again, this is Tina Maralit.
And this is Straight Talk.
So, good morning, sir. Sir Ed.
Good morning, Vernon. Good morning, Tina.
Kamusta mo naman po kayo, sir?
Mabuti naman.
Sir, good morning, Mr. Chair. From the get-go, the road sector has been hardball over privatizing MVIS. This has been long overdue from its inception under then President GMA up to now with President Duterte at the helm. Why do you think the policy took too long to mature and why so much resistance to privatization po?
May I clarify, May I clarify. The MVIS is the inspection system. The one which is being questioned probably is the
Privatization.
private vehicle inspection center. The PMVIS has been there for very long already, In fact, that's the basis of the inspection to pronounce whether a vehicle being applied for registration is roadworthy. So I think the one that's being questioned is the operation of the private motor vehicle center. But again, to emphasize, the inspection system has been there for, I think, immediately after the RA 4136 was approved or was passed.
Pero sir, yung privatization ngayon lang po, to clarify, for the record.
How's that?
Yung privatization po, sir, ngayon lang po talaga siya na-implement.
Yes. Actually, I think as early as early 90s, there were government motor vehicle inspection center put up. Except that during its operation, pagtagal, eventually, probably because of fair wear and tear, kalumaan din, they became sort of spent, so to speak. And there were efforts to revive, rebuild, and refurbish, but because of lack of funds, this was not pursued. So DOTR thought that maybe the inspection system can still be adopted by asking the participation of the private sector to finance the putting up of this facility.
Sir, do you think it's very convenient that it is only being hastened now? Considering it will make the people incur another financial burden. Because Joseph Mary, we have yet to be over with grappling with the economic effects of COVID-19, and then we have this to deal with. 1,800 pesos specifically, another 900 pesos if you're not lucky.
Again, I just want to emphasize that the system cannot be postponed. I mean, the inspection should not be postponed because, we encounter so much incidents of road crashes like that, where so many people get victimized. Many are injured, and even some are killed or suffered death. So I feel that personally, the inspection system should not be set aside. It's true that the motor vehicle inspection center, the fees that were sort of put up is quite high, especially now that there's pandemic. So I think the move of the private motor vehicle inspection center owners to bring down the fee to some, I think to 600 pesos would be sort of acceptable, or maybe can mean that the inspection can be still pursued with the motor vehicle owners not paying so much.
Kaya yun nga po, sir, because some of the criticisms were, kaya naman po palang maibaba. Bakit kailangan pa ng resistance or ng galit, kumbaga, ng publiko para magawa ito?
Hindi naman sila nagbaba dahil of course, sabi nila, palugi sila no, sa pagbaba nila. No? Gusto lang nila makibagay, makatugma sa puso ng ating Pangulo na para makatulong din dahil sa pandemya, dahil sa kakapusan ng guguguli ng motorista para ipambayad. Kumbaga nakikisama sila na binaba nila ang presyo nila.
Sir, let's address the elephant in the room, no? Based on a Senate inquiry, they said that privatization left unchecked is fertile soil for corruption. Now, if the reports are right, the process is fully automated po diba? There's little room for human intervention and thus it isn't conducive to corruption. True or false?
I feel personally that it can be a help to check corruption because in the previous inspection, we rely on visual or ocular, and even in some private emission testing centers, yung sinasabi lang notion nakakalusot But in the MVIC, medyo mahirap itong makalusot. So I feel that with the motor vehicle inspection centers, mas ma-check yung corruption by means of seeing to it that no vehicle is registered unless makapasa sila sa vehicle check to see if it's really roadworthy.
Privatization, Mr. Chair, means huge savings for the government, which doesn't have the wherewithal to effect the measure to its utmost extent. So, it may be fair to say that the issue is not privatization in aggregate. The issue is to whom you are issuing the permits. You are targeting to roll out somewhere north of 130 PMVICs nationwide. But there are apprehensions around the lack of transparency in the choice of testing centers. Walk us through your selection process po.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I think I can say that DOTR adopted measures to sort of make the process of selection very transparent. It's not that kumbaga kung sino lang gusto nag-apply, binigyan kagad ng permit. There is a validation process. In fact, DOTR set up an acceptance committee which evaluate the qualification of the proponent. By proponent, I mean those who are interested in setting this up. And there are so many requirements that they have to comply and submit the necessary documentation to support the claim. Halimbawa, sinasabi lang kaya lang mag-put up financially and they have the place where they can set this up. These are inspected, validated. And this is open. In fact, habang nagpa-process sila, this is, I think, on live streaming para kung sino mang interesado, ma-observa nila kung ano yung process of selection.
Sir, balik ako lang po yung nabanggit nyo kanina, yung mga may nakakalusot pong mga no-show sa mga inspection. But like online, if you check, on online selling platforms and even on social media, there are individuals and entities who are offering these services daw para yung magpaparegister ng kotse, kahit yung kukuha ng lisensya, no show daw, makakakuha. So sir, are you aware of this and how are you addressing this?
Yes, caution lang doon sa mga tao mag-engage dito sa tinatawag na fixer. No? Baka lalo kayong mahirapan kasi unang-una, kung fake yun, hindi yung tatanggapin ng sistema. For example, yung no-show, anong ipo-forward sa LTO system na result na inspection kung hindi sila nagdaan sa tunay na inspection?
Sir, perhaps also the reason you've been pressed so much is because allegedly, they said the DOTR and the LTO have removed from their guidelines an anti-corruption provision that would prohibit the agency's officials to pursue a stake in these businesses? Categorically and for the record, can insiders own a PMVIC po?
I am not aware of that, what you're mentioning as an anti-corruption provision that was removed. In fact, the Secretary is even emphatic in saying that in the measure, there should be, I mean, in the guidelines, there should be measures to check this corruption. In fact, pressed to the mind of the Secretary are the violations of this PETC. That's why I think there are about 300 or even more PETCs that were closed or revoked. Their permission to operate was revoked because they were engaged in these practices of entertaining what we term as no-show, but issuing certificates that as if the vehicle was really inspected.
So sir, relatedly, marami pong complaints that many technicians in these MVICs are deemed incompetent at yung iba, hula-hula na lang kung sino yung who will pass the inspection at kung sino yung ibabagsak nila sa inspection, even though the vehicle is, let's say, brand new or roadworthy. So how is the LTO addressing this po?
Of course, the operators of these MVICs were kumbaga pre-qualified. That's why they were given the authority to operate by the acceptance committee, and they were checked. And the gauges, the instruments that are being used in this automated system cannot just be tampered with, no? Kaya hindi pwede yung sinasabing hula-hula lang yung linalagay nila doon, no? Because the system prints what the readings of the meters give, no? So halimbawa, nagche-check ng alignment ng gulong, no? Kung ano mang reading na nandun, rinireflect sa instrument, are the ones printed in the form. So, hindi pwede na parang meron kang blank form tapos ipipil up ito manually, no? So, I feel that yung mga comment na yun, baka, no offense, baka haka-haka lang yun eh. Kaya, yung mga nag-operate na MVICs, I think two of them initially, nagkaroon ng konting glitch at na-correct naman nila yun. But it's not safe to say that lahat na nag-operate ng MVIC ngayon, may mga problemang katulad nun.
So sir, in the event that there's a particular MVIC na let's say, masabi natin, with a low batting average in terms of their performance as an inspection center, has the LTO laid down penalty, so to speak, to address this?
It's part of the system that's part of the issuance of the OTR and LTO, that if there are sort of like that, yung mga sinasabing anomalies, ano? For example, kung mangyayari pa yung no-show, I don't think they would dare do that. At isasacrifice nila yung kanilang puhunan, ika nga, doon sa kanilang sinet up na MVICs, no? Because that would mean hefty penalty in terms of fines, or even ma-recall yung kanilang authority to operate. And they invested millions, and I feel that because of that, they will not just dare, kumbaga, mandaya sila, and that may result to the cancellation of their authority.
Sir, ano pa na nangyari sa outdated equipment na pinrocure nung time po ni GMA? I mean, can that be enough po for us to erect more MVICs po?
Actually, when the new administration took over, one of the things that were immediately looked into was, for example, you heard of this license, this plate production, and the motor vehicle inspection. And we inventoried the existing MVIs then, and out of the, I think about 14 that were set up starting 1993, I think 1994, dalawa na lang ang nagpa-function dito. The one set up in Pasay and the one set up here in East Avenue. But because of its, kumbaga yung kalumaan, medyo na-overtaken na ng obsolescence, mayat maya nasisira ito. But we managed to repair some of this, but not, of course, expected to perform parang yung katulad ng bago pa. So we thought that we can rehabilitate by asking some funds or to support the rehabilitation or reconstruction of the facility. Just too bad that because of lack of funds, hindi nabigyan to ng priority. But we're still pursuing that in case na bigyan tayo ng pondo, we can work for the rehabilitation of this around 14 MVIC sites.
Where should one go? Emission test centers or PMVIC? We'll find out when we come back with LTO Chief Edgar Galvante after a short break.
Click, click, that's it. Never thought self-service can be this slick. Modify plans in a snap, walang hirap. It's a wrap, just tap the app. Now you can check, view, subscribe, renew. Help and support for you. Out with the Ring Ring apps or the in thing, you know what to do. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Self-service and easy to use, mas okay tayo dyan. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Instant response, no hold time pa, wala nang hintayan. Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan.
Download the Globe One and Globe at Home apps from Google Play Store and Apple App Store now.
Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan.
And we're back. Mr. Chief, there's a question around where should one go in a place where there is no MVIC or PMVIC? So, can emission hubs do just as well po?
Still, in places where there are no motor vehicle inspection center, the result of the PETC inspection for emission is recognized or accepted. But, the requirement for registration or renewal of registration is not only the PET certification, but the inspection to be done by LTO inspectors. Although most, because of the lack of the facility, rely on visual or ocular inspection. But still, again, to emphasize, PETC certification is not the only requirement for the renewal of registration. They still have to have their vehicles subjected to LTO inspection to see if really they are roadworthy. The wheels are inspected, the lights, the brake system, the sound, no? Particularly if it's emitting so loud the sound, hindi pwedeng payagan yan, lalong-lalo na, example, yung mga motosiklo na ino-alter yung tambucho para masyadong maingay when they are traversing the road, bawal yon. But again, to emphasize, equipment can help us determine this because it's very difficult to measure. Halimbawa, yung allowable is 99 decibels only. Kung pakikinggan mo lang yan ng tenga, baka hindi mo alam kung lampas na yan. So we really need the equipment.
Sir, since we're talking about privatization, is there a possibility to have MVIS services done inside car dealership po, given the right tools and added equipment?
Yeah, in fact, part of the plan of the OTR is that accredit car dealership. And they already expressed their interest to set this up. Particularly yung big car dealers, meron na rin sila niyan Although hindi pa kumpleto, they have still to follow yung nakalagay na pamantayan, sinusunod sa MVIC. And probably just a little pagdadagdag ng equipment na kailangan. Because the standard that LTO, DOTR is following is yung international standard observed in countries, even in our neighboring countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, they have also these MVICs. And except that yung sa car dealership, yung layout nila, yung tinatawag na bay type, but in this MVICs that we're setting up, parang nakaline yung mga series of checks o test na gagawin. So that's okay. But for as long as what is required as the result of testing will be shown in the report. And this report is necessary to see if the vehicle really can be registered.
Sir, explain to us the range of fees charged since others are more expensive compared to fees for jeepneys, say. Why is this so po?
I understand, although I haven't checked this actually physically or actually gone to the MVICs of some countries through some reports or some, a little research. For example, I think Japan has a fee of about 200,000 yen for the inspection. Singapore, I think the equivalent is around 2,700 pesos. Malaysia is quite higher than ours. Siguro yung sa Malaysia about a little more than 3,000.
So, sir, aside from vehicles which weigh 4,500 kilograms and lighter, are there plans to cater services to bigger and heavier vehicles in the MVIS?
Yeah, in fact, that's the next round. While DOT are planning to add more. Initially, there were 138 slots, so to speak, that were given out or where you can apply and get one probably in places that there are no MVACs. There are about 200 more to be added, and those to serve heavy vehicles. Because as of now, as you have mentioned, the support capacity of the present MVICs, they only cater to vehicles whose weight is 1,500 kilos pababa. Heavier than that, baka bumigay yung kalang equipment, bumagsak, that would not reflect correct reading of their meters of their gauges.
Sir, can you enumerate the procedures being done in MVIS? Di ba parang 70 points siya? And the main difference of MVICs from emission hubs is that, yung emission centers is that yung mga emissions lang tinatest. But with MVICs po, and PMVICs for that matter, ano po yung test?
When the vehicle is brought to the MVIC, initially pa lang yan, ang ginagawa ng mga operators ng MVIC, meron silang pre-inspection na ginagawa. When there are defects na obvious, na hindi sila papasa, ina-advise na. So kumbaga, using visual or ocular inspection, makita na may defecto na agad, advise na nila yung owner to correct the defect. For example, nakita na yung tires talagang pudpud na, hindi na yun pararaanin sa MVIC kasi obviously, pag pinaraan nila yon, bagsak yon, magbabayad sila. So, ang gagawin sa kanila, advise na i-correct na muna yung observable defect. But when the vehicle is brought, tinitignan via reader, instrument, yung engine number, chassis number, then yung plate number. And in fact, for vehicles that were given new plates, may katandem kasi yung dinistribute naming plates. Meron niyang RFID to really establish the identity of the vehicle. And there are 3 stages that the vehicle goes through. aside from the visual inspection to see the above carriage and undercarriage defect, no? In these stages, tinitignan yung alignment of the wheels, suspension system, then the brake, and the functioning of the speedometer. Then there's also this checking of the emission, which is included in the whole system. Na yun lang ang sa PETC, yun lang emission ang ginagawa nila. Wala silang checking of the brake, checking of the headlight, and then also the sound that is emitted as the vehicle is operated. I mean, when the engine is running, does it emit a sound louder than what is allowable or what is within the threshold? So, and the evaluator or the inspector that do the inspection, or that the inspection registers his identity, so to speak, so that we can check that if there are sort of suspected anomaly in the conduct of the inspection, the evaluator can be easily identified. Then the result of the readings of the gauges, the meters, instruments are reflected in a report which is transmitted electronically to the LTO system. So, given that the vehicle has passed this inspection, the LTO now, particularly the personnel who's handling the registration of this particular vehicle, can check whether the vehicle really has been pronounced roadworthy from the result of the inspection. And then the next procedure, next process in the registration of the vehicle is completed.
So, sir, with this in
Again, to
place,
emphasize,
yes,
the
sir,
PETC does not do this. The PETC is just limited
to the
to the
emission.
emission.
Yes. So, sir, going
And
back to that,
yes.
sir, sorry po. Going back to that, sir, since there's this inspection system in place, so does that mean that vehicles of older models are makakapasa because they're deemed as roadworthy? Because di ba po dati may calls to phase them out because kumbaga sa tao matanda na daw yung mga sasakyan na yon. But if they pass this inspection, does it necessarily mean that they're good to go?
Yeah, actually before the policy was that if your vehicle is 15 years and or older, hindi na yan papayagang ma-renew ang registration. But alam naman natin, meron din namang, kumbaga, kung tawagin masinop sa sasakyan, na nami-maintain naman niya. So yung roadworthiness ngayon ang pinagbabatayan. Not anymore the age of the vehicle. It could also be true that while bago yung sasakyan, hindi naman properly maintained, hindi naman dapat payagang rehistro kung hindi niya ayusin muna yung mga diferensya. That's why the motor vehicle inspection system is the tool to make the evaluation whether the vehicle is roadworthy or not.
Natanong ko yun, sir, kasi yung kotse ko more than 15 years old. You have another question?
Yeah. Sir, I mean, all the seismic shift nga po in priorities, since napag-usapan po natin roadworthiness, the seismic shift in priorities to MVIS for private vehicles, what's your thoughts on PUVs and obsolete trucks po? Aren't they derelict enough to be worthy of this airtime?
The MVIC is supposed to cater to all vehicles, whether private, government, or public utility vehicles. Except that at the present time, hindi pa walang MVICs that can cater to heavy vehicles, buses, minibuses, or what. So again, limited pa lang sa 4,500 kilos na vehicle or less, and motorcycles, by the way. Sa ngayon, nagre-rely sa mga heavy doon sa PETC result and the inspection done by the LTO inspector, although nagre-rely masyado ito sa ocular or visual lang because of the lack of equipment.
Sir, yeah.
So, yes.
Go ahead, sir. Sir, roadworthiness equates to road safety. So, the sector is uncompromising saying the suspension of such policy is anti-life. But how evidence-informed are these interventions po? I mean, high incidence of road traffic injuries and fatalities remains a major public health and development concern. So we had real progress in road safety legislation around speeding, drunk driving, seat belts, helmets, child restraints. But if we can present the real picture, sir, to show the effectiveness of our policies, how much road accidents in your database do you attribute to poor vehicle maintenance vis-a-vis other variables such as human error po?
I'm sorry at this point, at this time, I cannot present to you some statistics now. But we can provide this from our record. But definitely, it goes without saying that we would like to prevent something that we don't want to happen. And we should not wait for things to happen before we act, no? Especially when this may cause injuries or loss of life. That's why, as much as possible, we want to follow examples, for example, of our neighboring countries, even they're hindi nga sila very advanced, but they have set this up thinking that this can help reduce the number of injuries or fatalities when road crashes or road traffic accidents occur. So I feel that following this system, makakatulong ito para mabawasan yung statistics natin na maraming namamatay, maraming nasasaktan out of this road crashes or road accidents.
Sir, this is a question from the mail. Ano po yung latest supplemental implementing rules at revisions ng RA 10930, which is the guidelines and procedures governing the issuance of the student driver's permit, driver's license, conductor's license, and other miscellaneous transactions? At kailan po siya i-implement po?
Isa rito, yung pagre-require ng theoretical driving course na dapat nilang pagdaanan. This is supposed to be given for about 15 hours, no?
Opo.
And topics that are included in that course are mainly rules and regulations, traffic, road signs and symbols, and laws that should be observed when one is operating a vehicle. For example, drunk and drug driving definitely is not allowed. Then distracted driving. While driving, you're using your cell phone, reading your cell phone for text messages probably sent to you, so forth and so on. So in earlier studies, there were some findings about even, again, no offense to public utility vehicle drivers, that they say don't even understand the road signs and symbols. No? So we feel that doon pa lang sa bago mag-umpisa siyang makakuha ng lisensya, he or she should understand what this road rules and laws that they should know. Kaya doon pa lang inumpisa nating turuan. Before, the student applicant, the student would apply for student permit, immediately pag nakakuha na siya ng student permit, he or she is allowed already to go with the driving training sa kalsada agad without even understanding the rules and regulations, the pertinent laws. So we feel that we should improve this and sort of inculcated in the minds of those who would like to have the privilege of a driver's license, matutunan muna nila yung rules and regulation and the laws.
Sir, this is...
And after he has given the student, after he has presented the certificate that he has attended this, his application for student permit can be processed. And it's not true that only driving school are authorized to do this. No. LTO has set up driver's education center in all the regions, although maaring kulang pa ito, where we cater to those who are willing to go through this course at no cost. Walang bayad ito. except that, of course, we are limiting the size of the class to 15 or 20. We really have to observe also physical distancing. But it's one class after the other. Kaya kung halimbawa nag-a-apply yung interesado, hindi siya ma-accommodate sa unang class na susulong, in the succeeding classes, he or she can apply.
Sir,
Again, no cost.
No cost.
Sir, another question. Pwedeng matanong kung limited ang number of transactions sa mga agencies because of pandemic and health protocols po?
Ang linilimit namin transaction is that, of course, ayaw natin yung masyadong mahaba ang pila. Kaya, ginagawa natin, linilimit yung ma-admit doon sa compound para hindi nagsisiksikan. But, tinatanggal namin yung sinasabing cut-off. No? And in fact, kung halimbawa ay medyo maraming taong nandun at hindi ma-accommodate given the supposed end of office hours by 5 o'clock, we are authorizing or we are allowing the offices to go on overtime. And in fact, even Saturdays, if need be, or even Sundays. And for example, for renewal of driver's license, there are LTO offices located in malls. Yung tinatawag namin driver's license renewal office sa mga malls where they operate even on Saturdays. And of course, yung facilities doon, siguro, mas comfortable. Kung habang nag-aantay siya, medyo pwede siyang mag-walk around, air condition, so forth. So, hindi naman tayo talagang strictly naglilimit ng transaction, but rather, yung reasonable dami para hindi naman inconvenient sa tao. Then, if really abutin ng pagsasara, they are advised when to return para at least hindi naman sila parang pupunta lang taking the chances na baka sakaling this time maastikaso na sila, no? And we have this appointment system also, although limited pa lang application yan, but they can also make appointments para kumbaga yung slot na yun ma-reserve na. And we have also lane for yung senior citizens. Although as of now, alam natin na merong restriction pa rin sa mga senior citizens. Kung 65, more than 65, hindi muna ina-allow na lumabas. But again, kung kailangan na, kung papayagan na sila lumabas, we'll have this senior citizen lane open for them.
So sir, ito na part to yung burning question na kailangan natin tanong. Sir, what's the LTO's final take on the child
Car seat law.
I don't want to blame anybody, but rather the operation of the implementation of the child seat law is, kumbaga, mandated by the law itself. So that when it was implemented, it's by operation of law. No? But understanding that there are some problems, there are, kailangan pa rin na totally maintindihan ng concern. Ang LTO, hindi naman nanguhuli, but rather, ang ginagawa lang is cautionan yung nakikitang lang lumalabang. Then again, if I am a parent, I'm a guardian, and I know that this is for my loved one, why should I not follow? No? So, hindi natin ginagawa yung manghuli at bigyan sila ng penalties, confiscahin yung lisensya o masuspend sila. No, we're not doing that. And what LTO is doing now is, apart from just reminding them, is we are pursuing the campaign to educate, to inform the public. And I hope the other agencies that were tasked in the law will also contribute to this awareness campaign for those concerned to know what the law requires of us, ika nga. And we hope that they will really take into heart the intention of this. Hindi naman ito para sa iba kundi para sa ating minamahal din ito So, siguro with or without the law, sa atin na dapat manggaling kung anong measure na gagawin natin para hindi ma-injure yung ating anak, ating kapatid, bata o what.
Mr. Chief, it's been a delight having you at Straight Talk today.
Unfortunately, sir, that's all the time we have. Your final message to our viewers, sir.
Thank you very much. It's really pleasure that we are given this chance to explain some of the things that we're doing. But please, if there are suggestions on how we can improve, on how we can perform our function, discharge our function, please let us know, and we are more than willing to accommodate suggestions. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Thank you, sir. Hope to see you again next time. And do stay tuned. The Straight Talk will be back.
Magsha-shopping na lang ako!
Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Hello, can I get the following? One pink chair, bed sheets, na pink yung sofa, tapos slide, size 8, pajamas na blue. Oh, don't forget my...
Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Wait lang, okay ba yan?
Anything at the SM store, ma'am.
Call to deliver.
Kuya, pwede rin ba ako magpa-deliver sa ate ko sa Taguig, tapos sa friend ko sa Davao, tsaka sa... fiancé ko sa Lipa? Okay ba yan?
Kahit saan po, pwede kami
Call
mag-deliver.
to deliver. Call. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver. Call. Hashtag 143SM. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Call na rin kayo.
Call to deliver.
Partner, what's your takeaway from the discussion?
Regarding the vehicle inspection, no, I'm all for road safety. And like what I mentioned earlier, I drive an old car model. And being if we are responsible car owners, then we should see to it that our vehicles are in top running condition, maayos ang brake, ang ilaw, busina, lahat, diba? Pati gasolina. You know, so yes, I'm all for it. Pero yun nga, siguro maybe the LTO needs to do more convincing to the public na this is needed, na this is not a milking cow, so to speak. Kasi nga, that's the public's perception that this is laden with corruption, kaya ipinipilit. Diba?
And that won't happen unless we privatize it. Kasi we do not have the wherewithal nga to make it happen. So, I mean, the savings the government will have from privatizing all of these MVICs can be used for other infrastructure projects.
But then again, we should also remember that dapat mabura yung stigma na kaya pina-privatize because
corruption.
the government is favoring some private entities.
Exactly.
Yan.
Yeah.
Diba? So, ang hirap for the LTO, diba? Dami if you do, dami if you don't.
Yeah.
Yan. Ito naman, yung sa car seat. What's your take on that? Ako, having a toddler na mga pamangkin, inaanak, if it's for their safety, yes. But
you'll do everything you can.
Oo,
for their
but
safety.
yun nga, like with our viewers and the netizens, yung view nila sa, parang it's not practical.
Exactly.
At
Lalo na pandemic.
given the situation that we are in now, no, hindi, sinasabi may pinapaboran siguro manufacturer, ganyan, kasi nagkakaubusan ng car seat, kahit yung mga second hand na, whatever.
Kasi if you really come to think about it, for the longest time, we didn't have car seats eh. I mean, we did well without that.
But katulad din yung nabanggit ni Sir Ed kanina, dapat wala ng law regarding safety ng mga anak natin, kapatid.
You should look after your children.
Oo
diba?
kasi it boils down din to common sense that if you're a parent, you wouldn't, you wouldn't put your 2-year-old or 1-year-old on your lap while you're driving. For the gram, for TikTok or whatever to show na naghahawak ng maraming ganun diba?
Sa US pa nga iba, diba? Parang, yung sa US, naiiwanan nila yung mga toddlers nila sa sakyan na mamatay.
Oo diba?
Sa init.
So, yeah, it's it's, sorry for the term, it sucks to be the LTO chief right now kasi, di ba, ang
Titiranin ka eh.
daming, oo, sa kanya napupunta yung mga pamumuna, yung kritisismo, yung galit ng publiko. When we understand also where the LTO is coming from, that they're also just after the safety and convenience of the public, of the motorists.
And that's it for today's Straight Talk. My name is Vern Velasco.
And I'm Tina Maralit.
Have a nice